welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today, we have everybody's favorite Melisa and Meghan back on the podcast together again. Yeah. Oh, we should come up with a song.
Okay.
Not now. I don't have enough inspiration.
Me either.
Okay.
And I can't sing.
Let's loop back to it. Hey,
Okay.
auto-tune works for everybody.
You're right. Hey, Brittany.
Hey. Sup, guys. Welcome back to Don't Blame Me. This is an advice podcast. Let me get the phone number out of the way in case we have some like random shit we want to babble about. If you want to call and be in an upcoming episode, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And if you're an international listener, you can send us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com.
You did it again.
I said com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You know, I think it's this Mucinex and allergy medication combo you have me on.
Good.
I feel like my eyes are really wide, which I can't open them that wide because I don't have large eyes.
Yeah, that's how mine feel when I'm on it.
Yeah. When I'm on that good
on that good combo, that mix, that cocktail. You know
I had allergies at Coachella, not this year because I did not go, but a couple of years ago. And the allergy medication combo mixed with like the secondhand smoke and like just all of just being around the vibes, I was like, I don't need drugs. I'm fucking good. I'm enjoying myself. And then the sun went down and I was like, I'm no longer enjoying myself here. Have you ever been to a music festival?
No.
Okay, say what you're going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh.
I was going to say you actually like asked me that question.
No, but I mean just like general, like in high school.
No.
College.
Nope. I don't like people.
I know.
I don't like crowds.
Me neither. I think you're just smarter.
I don't like outdoor toilets.
Well, anything else we have to catch up on before we hop into this?
Yes.
Okay.
But no.
Okay.
Because I wrote about it in the blog, but I didn't get a chance to tell you because seizure. So, and I literally wrote in the blog, I haven't even told Meghan any of this. So I'll just tell you later.
Oh, fuck. Oh my God. Okay. I'm on the edge of my seat. Are you dating someone now too?
No, it's not dating. It was just, I was in the same room with our husband though.
What the fuck? I'm sorry. No.
It's in the blog, so I can't tell because of the people that paid for Patreon.
Okay, will you send it to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't talk to him. He was just across the room.
So I'm still winning or losing because I said not real words to him.
He did, like, we made eye contact and smiled.
I'm like wet. Fuck. Oh my God. You're so lucky.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. I'm fuming. Also, where was I? Okay. Well, I guess we can start the fucking episode.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa, and I'm sure the wonderful special guest. So, I'm 19 years old, and I just finished my freshman year of college, and I made some amazing friends, and I have a great friend group, and 6 of us are living together next year in a house. My issue is, one of my good friends, he's a guy, and I have what you call caught feelings. So I have the biggest crush I've ever had on a guy in my entire life, and it's just different than any other crush I've ever had, and I feel we just connect over so many things like music and shows, and our humor is really similar. We laugh together a lot, and it's amazing. So I am having trouble deciphering if he's just being a good friend or if he also has feelings, and I know if I do anything about it, either way it's going to get weird because we're living together next year and we have the same group of friends, but I don't know what to do because I really like him and I could possibly see myself dating him, and whatnot. But yeah, so I just don't know how to go about the situation without making everything an entire big mess. So yeah, if you guys could help me with that, that'd be great. Love you guys. Love your podcast. I look forward to listening to it.
I'm just like suppress.
Yeah, I know. I just think like, I think like as much, because you're 19, it was your freshman year. This is your sophomore year. Mm-hmm. Even as somebody who dropped out of college, I can say like, the people that you surround yourself with freshman year and sophomore year also can tend to be so different than who you hang out with senior year. And like, I think 6 people living together honestly is truthfully better than 3 people living together, because like drama is kind of dispersed, and like you're able to even have like 2 split even groups if people like break off and like get cliquey. I just think it's a bad call to say anything or pursue anything, because I also think like, I think this sounds bad, I think if he was into you, he also probably wouldn't want to live with you.
Or he does, because he's like, then we can just sneak to the room.
Yeah.
Bang it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I think if it happens, it happens, but you gotta have boundaries, because if you break up, things will get weird.
Yeah.
If you stay together, they could be great, but it's college, man.
Yeah, I think if your guys are going to do anything, I think it has to be you were right, and like you have clearly cut the feels. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you're picking up on flirtation or whatever, and like he like comes on to you, I think if it starts physical, you have to shut it down, because like you have feelings for him. Mm-hmm. So if you guys hook up, that's going to make you be more into him, and you haven't had those conversations about, okay, well, what happens if this doesn't work, and like let's actually have like a conversation about it, because like maybe he doesn't want a girlfriend, he doesn't want anything serious, he's just trying to have fun, and then you hook up with him and you find that out later, and then it's like, shit, now I'm devastated and I don't want to live here. So I think you need, if him just coming on to physical, I would say like, hey, if you're drunk or whatever, and be like, hey, like let's talk about this sober tomorrow, like let's have a conversation about this, like I don't want to do anything that's like, I just like want to make sure that like we're not putting ourselves in like a weird position, and so like let's talk about it. And if he's like, no, come on, it's casual, who cares, then I can say save your pride and don't bring it up. Yeah. But I think if he's then like, okay, let's talk about it, I don't think you need to like come forth and say like, hey, I really like you. I think you can be like, so what was up with last night? And like, well, are you looking to like, and I don't think you have to talk about it in specifics of how you feel about him. I think it can be like, well, like, are you looking to date? Like, is this something that you want to pursue? Like, are you interested in me? Or like, is it just more of like a convenience thing? Cause like, we're both here. And then based on him, if he's like, no, I like really have feelings for you. Like, I really like you too, but we have to like talk about this.
Yeah. Because even if you guys like both have feelings for each other and are going to date, it's still awkward because you're in the same place. So it's like even though you might not be like staying in the same room together, you're still living together, and it's like you've skipped a bunch of steps.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I think like, I think, and then at a certain point, like you have to also look into how much is it going to cost for you wouldn't even like, how much is it going to cost if you're going to have to move out if you break up, like, and like weigh those pros and cons too, not just your friendship, weigh like, okay, do I like him this much that if we broke up, is this going to affect like my studies? Am I going to need to retake classes? Am I going to need to take time off from school? Am I going to need to find a new place to live? Is this going to ruin my friendships with like my other friends? Like, is this going to like make am I going to lose some people if we like lost each other in that sense? So yeah, I also think if you guys both are super, super into each other, I think, call me crazy, I think one of you then should move out first before you start dating. Not that I'm saying it should be him, but like it could be him. Like it could be like if you guys are both, and maybe that's a good test to see if you're serious about it. And then like broach the subject with him. If he said like, no, I really have feelings for you, they're really strong, it's like, okay, well then one of us I think needs to move out, because this is going to put it in a really bad position. And if he's like, no, I mean, that's insane, then I think you can be like, okay, well, you're not really as serious about this as me. And then also I'd say like, if you feel uncomfortable being around him and like this, whatever, if this comes up and like if he doesn't have feelings for you and it also feels awkward, and there's nothing wrong with also recognizing and being like, you know what, I can't do this. Yeah. And the amount of money that it costs to like break your lease or like to move somewhere else, even if your friends are like being like, oh, that's like dramatic or whatever, you don't have to tell them the reason why. Like, no, to like preserve your mental health, because if this is hurting you now, if he brings a girl home and all of that stuff, like it's so much, I think the stronger choice is the harder choice, which is the one that's moving out, finding a new place to live and doing all of that stuff. It's not stronger to like sit there and take like that kind of like pain and drama, because that's hard to like deal with and move on from. So I would also say like, even now, if it feels like you're too nervous to move in, like you don't want to move in with him, and like you don't even want to like figure out like the relationship stuff or any of that. Like I think also like look for other places to live. Like don't feel like that this is like your bed so you have to sleep in it kind of a thing.
Right.
So
yeah,
best of luck.
Good luck.
One time a guy I had a crush on asked me if I wanted to be roommates, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's the one who I had sex with, has a really small penis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I took that as being like, so you're not into me because you want to be roommates.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, let us know what happens. Best of luck. Your life sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Where do you go to college?
I know.
Can I come? I'm too old now.
No, you're not.
Cool. Thanks.
You can be a grad student.
True.
I'm 19. I'm just like finishing up high school, and I kind of wanted, I guess, confirmation that like I'm normal, I guess. So let me explain. I have a bunch of guy friends. I love my guy friends. They're great. Like we get along great. I've had so much like crazy girl shit that I'm like over it. But I'm very like in touch with my guy side, I guess. And like I was having a conversation, a kid in my school burst a girl's spleen having sex, and a lot of girls were like, oh my god, that's too much. And I was like, that's kind of epic. And that was the response a lot of like guys were also giving. And they were kind of like, see, like you're just one of the guys, like you're so cool. Like, they were saying that like, whoa, I'm such a guy, and like it's so weird that like I have such a like guy response. And this probably makes no sense because I'm completely rambling. But they were pretty much saying that like my brain doesn't function like a girl's brain does when it comes to things related to sex or like stuff like that. And I don't know if there are other people out there that's like that, or if this is like a me thing. Like there obviously has to be someone, but is this a normal thing, or like I honestly like don't even know what I'm asking for advice on. But like at first I was like, oh yeah, it's cool, I'm like one of the guys, but now it like is starting to feel weird. Like they look at me differently because I'm a girl, but I like think like a guy does, or like I can at least agree with them on their thoughts. So I guess if you have any opinions, or if you think it's like crazy wild, I don't know, something would help. I didn't know who to talk to, so I figured I'd call in. I love your podcast. I listen to it in my car all the time.
Gosh, I don't want to like totally shit on you, but I'm also gonna start by shitting on your guy friends. This just sounds like such like stupid classic like high school shit. And I've been called one of the guys so many times. Like I like even like Leo and Tyler, like we'll talk about certain stuff, and like in the way that he's like, I literally could never talk to any of like my like any of my female friends about this kind of stuff. And like, but that's not like, it's not that it's like this badge that like women want to wear, that it's like, I'm not like every other girl. Like I don't get along. Like there's nothing cool about not getting along with girls. Like that's not cool. And I understand, as someone and I've also said before, like that I had stints where I always had like Sydney, I always had my best friends back home, but I had a really hard time making good female friends in LA. And all of my friends in LA were guys. Were they straight? No. But like for a long time I was like, yeah, no, I also tend when I first meet people, I tend to hit it off with guys more than girls, just in general. I have a really aggressive personality, which a lot of times like douchebag guys really respond to. So the guys that I immediately hit it off with, or like I have conversations with, also aren't great guys. Mm-hmm. It's guys who are like, oh yeah, fucking egos, and that kind of stuff. That's not like necessarily like a cool thing. And I think for you, I think the reason why you're calling in this is like, I think there's a part of you that like wants to feel like, oh wow, this feels cool. I feel special and different than other girls. But I think also you're probably worried, like, am I too much like a guy when it comes to dating, and is nobody going to want to date me? And I want to say, this is your friends. Like, this is just your fucking idiot guy friends who think that girls don't like sex, and girls don't talk about shitting and farting, and that girls are these like prim and proper things, and that they're just like disgusting dudes. Like, it's just a really small like gendered idiotic thing.
Right.
That's not real at all.
Right. And like, have you heard us talk about
I was like, you
sex?
listen to the podcast and you're like, does anyone else think like this? I'm like, have you listened to this fucking podcast?
Yeah, like we talk about sex all the time.
Yeah.
We're more, I think, maybe more mature about the way. I mean, I won't even go that far, but
no,
like,
but
more. I mean, we've talked about fucking necks before, but like,
no, but
spleen.
yeah,
like, come on.
If anything, the only relation I would have, like at this age, a guy saying something that is like, oh no, that makes you such a guy, would be like being immature. At that, if like we're talking like a heterosexual, like cisgendered male in high school. It would be being immature, would be like that kind of thing. And like, I don't want to say like ignorant, but like also kind of ignorant of the female body.
Yes.
Like in my mind, you being like your friends being like, your guy friends being like, oh my God, you're one of us. You're like, yeah, periods are fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of stuff that I don't think like, I also wouldn't take it for you as like I can't get along with girls at all sort of thing. I think if I would try really hard to make female friends. I think it's incredibly important. It's really hard, and I've gotten burned by so many terrible like female friends. And it took until I had made great ones when I was younger. Then when I had like the second wave of friends, it took me until I was into like my 20s to make like really good female friends. And it's an important thing. And it's also like, it's a skill because women, I find myself, I'm more nervous about other women judging me than I am about guys. And like, it can be harder to like necessarily be yourself around other girls because you're like, oh, I think they're judging me on things that like guys don't necessarily notice. And it can be harder, but it's super, super important because like if you have this like, I don't know, your friends are putting you in this box that like, because you can like laugh along with them at sex jokes and stuff, like I don't want them to influence who you see yourself as in your identity, and they're telling you you're one of the guys doesn't mean that you have to be one of the guys if you don't want to be. Like you can laugh at their jokes, like you can think some of the stuff they say is funny, but like also know that like that doesn't mean that like women don't enjoy sex and women can't talk like that. And like I don't want you to feel like, oh no, I only have to be friends with these straight dudes because girls don't get me, because that's super isolating, and girls will totally get you.
Yeah,
and like
you're probably just not around the right group of girls.
Yeah, which it happens. But like there's even times like when I'm with Sydney and Jerry, it was me, Sydney, Jerry in here one night, and we were talking about something, and we were talking about like shitting or something like so gross that Monts was like, I have to leave the room. Like this is disgusting. And like he is like was a frat boy, and like he was so grossed out by like us being so like vulgar about something. But I think it also just comes with, I don't know, like, this sounds bad, but like, there's a difference between like someone being like hoity-toity or whatever and like not talking about something, and like people who are like have no tact, like who are like tactless. Like it's like, it's just, it can be like a outwardly, I don't know. I think it's also like the loudest person in the room, sometimes is me, but like isn't necessarily the funniest person. Like sometimes the funniest people are saying like the quiet, hilarious jokes under their breath. And like some of like some girls that you might like know, but you don't know that well, like maybe they're even more like hilariously grotesque, but like their egos, they don't need to shout it from the rooftop.
Right.
And I think that's kind of how like females are, I don't know, can tend to be more like when you're joking about with that kind of stuff.
Especially in high school.
Oh yeah. I just think that like, I don't want you, I just don't want them to like make you be someone that you aren't necessarily identifying as. And also like, it's just gender norms are so stupid. Yeah. Like so fucking stupid. I know guys who like hate like straight men who like hate like have to be like dressed really proper and like hate getting stuff on their clothes and like very much don't want to talk about like pooping and farting, and like, but that doesn't make them any less of like a man.
Yep.
So I would say your mission, and I'm giving you homework, is to make some female friends.
And fuck gender norms.
Yeah, fuck gender norms. Fuck them. Also, straight high school boys, if they said you're one of me, I'd be like, fuck no. Yeah. Run away. Join a feminist club. Do something like that.
You're almost done anyway.
Yeah.
You're 19.
Yeah. Wow. Should we go on to the next?
Let's go on to the next.
Hi, Meghan, Melissa, and everyone else that's around. I'm calling, I'm 24, about a family issue. So as much detail as I can provide in 3 minutes, I'm going to try to talk fast. So I was recently reached out to by one of my younger cousins I've kind of stopped attending some of my extended family events on my father's extended family side for various different reasons, and she's kind of coming at me complaining that I haven't been there and that I'm making them feel like crap, but she's only getting one side of the story. So she's saying that I need to reach out to them and that I need to fix this relationship and that it's my fault that everyone feels like crap because I haven't been around. What she doesn't know is that there's so much more to my side of the story. So my question is, am I wrong in thinking that there are plenty of adults on that side of my family that could reach out to me too? My number hasn't changed. Or am I being a child in the fact that, I refuse to reach out to them? So some of the details being, first of all, when I graduated college, my parents are divorced. My father chose not to attend, so I decided to give his tickets to my grandmother. She then chose not to attend, didn't text me, didn't call me, didn't email, didn't anything, or tell me that she wasn't coming. She just didn't show up, and I never got an explanation as to why. And that really hurt because I spent time and money and energy trying to find extra tickets. Then a couple of years ago, I took my boyfriend to Christmas the first year we were together. And, I have a large extended family, almost 20-something cousins, multiple aunts and uncles, and then boyfriends and significant others and everything like that, around. And no one talked to us. I felt like an outsider in my own family. It really sucked. And then we came back around for 4th of July, and it was the same thing. I just didn't feel like I belonged in my own family. Found out a couple of years ago that my father stole my identity for many, many years, and I was going through the process of marking those as fraud, and my grandmother's name and address came up associated with one. I reached out to her, told her, and she pretty much told me before I did anything, I needed to consider our family name. So that pretty much told me that she was choosing him over me, and I get it, it's her son, but I'm also her granddaughter. And so I just don't feel like I belong in that family. I have found better relationships and felt more cared about and loved by people who aren't even my blood in my boyfriend's family. So I choose to spend holidays with them instead of people that I don't feel like I belong around and that don't seem to care about me. So again, my question is, am I being a child and not having reached out? Should I just, grow up and reach out to them? Or am I right that, you guys are adults too. If you really care that much, my grandmother or one of my aunts or uncles could reach out to me too. It's just really sticky situation. Thanks so much.
First of all, you finished this in 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Dude, she's a Virgo.
Thank you for giving all that detail in the amount of time.
And you clearly wrote it down and wow, I love you. Is that thing still? I'm just here. Am I crazy? Oh, fantastic. It gets in my head. I don't think you're being a child at all because, God, I relate to you so much. I think that this is the biggest, I don't know if you're in therapy, and I'm not even necessarily going to suggest therapy for you because, also, I don't want to say that because my whole thing of being I'm really self-realized and self-actualized. I don't need therapy. And then I went to therapy and they were like, well, yeah, that is also an issue for having therapy is being too self-realized. I was like, oh, wow, I'm too aware. Okay, cool. But this is preservation of you and this is you're looking out for yourself, and it is not your responsibility it's not your responsibility to take shots at the expense of your own mental health to appease people who you're not bending over backward. You're not doing anything for them other than just hurting yourself.
Yep.
You're not running in front of a car to save a baby. You're just running in front of a car because they said, hey, please run in front of a car. Mm-hmm. And it's just ridiculous. And people who love you and care about you don't put you through emotional turmoil and don't want to see you suffer. And this is all intentional on their part. This isn't a misunderstanding. This isn't just signals crossed. This is events have happened and people have chosen sides, and the side wasn't you, and that hurts. And it's not just oh, my feelings are hurt. It's it's multiple chances that they've had to do anything, and
they didn't show up for you.
No, and that's what a family is. And you said, you found a fantastic chosen family, and that's amazing because the people, and I've said this many times, the people who give birth to you aren't necessarily the people who raise you. You can be a product of your environment. I say that I think the person that I ended up being the most is Sydney's mom. I feel like I am Debbie. That's who I that is like a strong woman that I've like always like been like, this is who I want to be when I grow up. Like, and it doesn't have to be the people who gave birth to you at all. And if family is supposed to love you unconditionally, and if they don't love you unconditionally, like they're not your family. And like you have the same DNA, but having a little cousin reach out is so fucking passive aggressive. Mm-hmm. And like, you are right. If they truly cared and they truly wanted to make things right, it would also, I would go as far as to say, it wouldn't even be them reaching out. It would be them reaching out with an incredibly lengthy and heartfelt apology and saying, I need to say this because I know that I've hurt you and I don't expect anything in return from you. I don't expect this to fix anything. I don't expect to see you at holidays, but I needed to say this because I hurt you intentionally and I feel so terrible, and I don't want you to I want you to know that that's not truly how I feel, mm-hmm. and that we really care about you and you always have a spot here and we always want to make you feel welcome. But like, it's not that. It's like they're not even reaching out to you to apologize. They want an apology from you. And right. I've been there when like you cut toxic people out and then they come back around and they're like, I'm ready for my apology. And you're like, bitch, I ain't sorry.
Right.
I ain't fucking sorry.
And it's like, they're not even coming. They're sending your cousin because they think like, oh, they're close in age, so let's send them and we can talk to it. And my therapist said, when you cut toxic people out and people want like an explanation for why you're not there, she's like, just say there's two sides to every story and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, this is so similar to me. Have you met? Because I have family members reach out that are family members by marriage that I've never met. Literally, what? I will check my because I get the only notifications I get on DMs are people that I follow, but I will like check my DMs a lot and like respond if someone's like, where's your bathing suit from? Mm-hmm. Or like blah blah blah, or like say something and I'll like respond. And I saw one of them, and one of them was from a family member's significant others, kids from a previous marriage. And I was like, bitch, I don't even fucking know you. And it was very much of a similar thing, that it was like, this is insane. And like, I understand like the fact that you are questioning this and have guilt about this, or not even necessarily guilt, but like that you're questioning this means that you are an incredibly great person. Mm-hmm. And like this choice was hard for you, which it is. It's so fucking hard to cut toxic people out. It's even harder to cut toxic family members out. And you gave multiple chances. Like, mm-hmm. these are multiple things that have happened. And then once you had your found family, there's something very empowering about that, and feeling completed when you're with the people who really truly love you. And then when you have that feeling and then you go back to that toxic place and you get there and you're like, this is draining. Like, right. I'm doing this because I think I have to, because I think this is what family's about. But like that warm, fuzzy family feeling, if you're not getting that, that's not.
Why should you be there?
It's not fucking worth it. It's not worth your time at all. And I'm so glad your boyfriend's family's great and like you feel like welcome there. I don't think you're being childish at all.
Yeah, and they're the ones that are being childish in this situation. Like your grandmother not coming to your graduation.
What a bitch. Sorry, your grandma's a bitch.
She is, and she didn't say anything to you. She didn't apologize. Did she send you a card? Doubt it. Your dad stole your identity.
Mm-hmm.
He's using up your credit. Just making things bad, and then like using his mom's address as the address for it. Like, that's childish.
He sounds like someone that you babysit. Yeah. Like, this doesn't sound like your parents. And like, also probably why you come across and you are so mature is because you've had to parent your parents and the elders in your life, and that you are supposed to be the mature one. When in reality, as my therapist says, like the most mature choice is to look out for yourself and take care of yourself.
Yeah, because if you can't take care of yourself, then you can't give anything to anyone else.
Yeah, and that's not it's just really not what family's supposed to be. No. And it sucks. Like, I will totally admit, like, you watch TV shows and movies where like they have like picture perfect families and like you want that. And if you don't have that, like, it fucking sucks. And like, it's something that like you can like wish for and want for, but like it's not like, I don't want to sound like cutthroat or whatever, but like it's not going to happen. And like you have to cut your losses there and build up other relationships in your life. And like, does it suck? And like, is it going to hurt? Yes. But like the amount of turmoil and pain and like just like feeling like left out and like the terrible stuff that it brings you to stick through it isn't ever worth it. And it's like you can build up this idea of what you'd want it to be. I'm so guilty of that. And I was guilty of that for like so long, of like really wanting to stick through things because like you have an idea of what you want, what you wish it was. And if it's not that, it's not going to become that. But there are other relationships and other fantastic people in your life who can fill those spots and who can be like that. And it can make you feel the exact same way. It's just hard when you see people who are very close to their families or have this idea of family. And as much as, and I will say, as much and as great as it is for you to be a part of your boyfriend's family and to feel really included there, I would also say focus a lot on your friends, because like as I go to my boyfriend's family for like for Christmas and stuff like that, and like it can also be hard to see like someone else's family be so like as a great family unit. And like I love spending time with my friends and their families, but they can be like a little triggering and hard. So make sure you spend time with like your friends too, and like really foster those relationships, because like you'll realize how you can like look up to your friends and have friends be role models who are like your same age. Like you can have all of those like figures in your life and not directly compare it to like what you see on TV and movies of like families. But yeah, I very much understand your situation, and you're making the right call. As somebody who second guessed myself a lot, I go to 2 therapists, and it turns out I made the right call. So you're good. Okay, let's take a break.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in like 2 minutes.
Woohoo. With more than 70 sizes, including their signature half-cup sizes, ThirdLove designs bras with breast size and shape in mind for a perfect fit and a premium feel. Just answer a few simple questions via ThirdLove's Fit Finder quiz to find your perfect fit in 60 seconds. Then, thanks to ThirdLove's 100% fit guarantee, you can wear, wash, and put your bra to the test for 60 days. And if you don't love it, you can return it, and ThirdLove will wash it and donate it to a woman in need. This is hands down the most comfortable bra that you'll own, with straps that won't slip, tagless labels, and lightweight, super thin memory foam cups. You guys know that we have been working with ThirdLove for a long time, and every time I tell you the truth, which is the fact that it is my favorite bra. It is so incredibly comfortable. It like makes you want to touch your boobs in like a way that you're like, oh my God, wow. I feel like supported but not strangled and suffocated, which for me, like I don't want to feel suffocated. And it makes like, you know, like between period boobs and not period boobs, I feel like my boobs always look good when I wear it, which is obviously the goal. ThirdLove knows that there's a perfect bra for everyone, so right now they're offering my listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/blame now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/blame for 15% off today. We're sponsored today by Hello Girls, the latest novel from Emily Henry and Brittany Cavallaro, the New York Times bestselling author of the Charlotte Holmes series. In this modern-day remake of Thelma and Louise, 2 young women who are fed up with men telling them what to do take their rage to the road, but not before stealing a shiny red convertible first. Chased by the oppression, toxicity, and powerlessness that has held them down, Winona and Lucille must reclaim their strength if they're going to make their daring escape and get away with it all. Claire Legrand, the New York Times bestselling author of Fury Born and Sock Hill Girls, calls Hello Girls exactly the kind of smart, angry, tender-hearted, patriarchy, dismantling story that I've been hungering for, with a gorgeous, complex friendship at its core. Beautifully written, with a thumbing vitality in every sense, and characters so real that their passions, hurts, and triumphs will leave you breathless. Visit epicreads.com to learn more, or purchase a copy of Hello Girls wherever books or audiobooks are sold. Did we go on a break, or did we just stop?
We went on the break.
Cool. Wow, guys, we actually took like a really long break this time.
We did.
We've just been like shooting the shit. Sorry you weren't here.
Oh, I could have told my story.
Fucking tits. Oh my God. We snacked. We talked for so fucking long, and I can't even. Okay, fine. Well, we're fucking back. I forgot. Let's get back to the rest of the questions. I'm literally just going to rush through all of these, give shitty advice so I can hear how it happened. I'm kidding, guys. No, I will give good advice. Or I'll try.
Hi, Meghan and guest. I'm 25 years old and calling in with a little bit of anxiety question. So about 3 years, I started having a lot of anxiety and went to a therapist. Love my therapist. She's the best. But in that process, I did develop late onset OCD. So I have a lot of problems with obsessing over things, and unfortunately, those obsessions decided to attach to my fiance. We've been together for about 7 years, and I love him more than anything in the world. We're getting married in November, so excited. But I spend a lot of time worrying, if I love him enough, and it's a really detrimental worry because I know I love him, but it's just kind of like this plague of self-doubt. I know, Meghan, because it's anxiety, and it's always about that, but my issue is we're having some trouble with our sex life. I have a lot of sexual anxiety because when we are, in the process of having sex, I usually have a lot of anxiety. Sometimes it ends in panic attacks, but most of the time it's obsessions about, why am I not turned on enough? Why am I not wet enough? Why am I not, why doesn't this feel as good as all the other girls in the world say sex feels? I've never really felt a lot of pleasure from penetrative sex. I've only kind of been able to get off from oral or fingering. So I find myself in the midst of, penetrative sex thinking, like, when is this going to be over? I want to, feel good. But then at that point I feel guilty because I'm like, I should be enjoying this moment with my partner. But I love to masturbate because I don't have to, deal with that anxiety. And I know this is causing kind of a roadblock in my relationship with my fiance. And I really want, I'm going to marry this guy and I want to have an amazing sex life with him. And I know that is going to be involving me overcoming this anxiety. So just what's your advice on, someone that has a lot of sexual anxiety? How do I get out of my head? How do I really, let myself in the moment and, enjoy and not feel goofy. I've been on antidepressants for a long time, so I have a lot of weight gain. I don't feel sexy. There's so much that goes into it. I really want that sex life that everyone raves about. So I would love to hear your opinion because I know you're very sex positive, and I love that. So thank you. Okay, bye.
Oh my God. I love you. You're great.
Yeah, me too.
So I feel like first thing I'll say, love that you're in therapy. I think therapy's great. Plot twist. I'm not saying that I think therapy is the answer to this right now. I think this is from my experience personally and like my friends, when we talk about sex and we talk about things, that are like the most like in-depth like hookup experiences are not with our significant others. Like the second that you start seriously dating someone, I don't know. Like, I remember I've only like the first time my friends have sex with like the guy that they're like their long-term boyfriend. Like I heard about like the first time, maybe the first 2 times. Mm-hmm. Once they started seriously dating, like we didn't really talk about like their specific sex life as much because it's like, I'm also a part of like their friendship. Like mm-hmm. I know both of them. It feels like a little more protected intimacy wise. And at least I know for like Monts, he's always said like, no, like my guy, like we, like none of us talk about our girlfriends like ever. Like we'll have talked about like girls that we like one night stands hook up with, but like that talk like completely dies when you start seriously dating somebody. I think you've dated your boyfriend for 7 years, which is a really long time. And it's formidable years, like sex years. And you probably had a lot of like first sexual experiences or like most intense, deep, romantic, like sexual connections with him. But I don't know if you've talked about that with your friends. Yeah. In a sense that like just the fact of you saying like, I don't get off from penetrative sex. Like I only really get off from oral, like girl. Same. It's like 98% of women mm-hmm. really only get off from like clitoral stimulation, like not penetration. And like I didn't know that until like I really talked about that with like my girlfriends. Like that's not something that like when you see in like movies and porn and you see all this stuff, like it's not real. It's not actually how like.
Yeah. He's not going to stick his dick in you and you're going to be like, oh.
No. Like even Sex and the City, which was like an incredibly sex positive show, like they talk about like going down on girls, but like they don't talk about the fact that like, you need to go down on me or else I'm not going to come. Mm-hmm. Like I've come from penetrative sex like probably 5 times in my life. And like, it's also never been like just like you're doing other shit with your hands. Like you've already come, like you've already like it's not like, and also one time was recently, I was really excited because like
birthday sex.
I was stoked. Well, that's also like I told Shireen when I was like, yeah, like the first, like I had never like come with being with a guy, like Monts was the first one. And it was, and it was like the first night we had sex or whatever, like the morning after the first night we had sex or whatever, and like the second time it was like come from penetrative sex. I was like, this is fucking insane. Like but like that's like, and we've been together for like almost 4 years, and it's something like it's you would know those things if you talk to your female friends about them. And I think like your anxieties and like all of that stuff are so much about being like, am I the only one? Am I the only one? And if you're not, even if you're talking about it with your therapist, like I'm all here for talking about therapy or whatever. I mean, talking to a therapist, love therapy, but I think that you'll feel so much less alone, not just hearing her voice, like treating this like anxiety, because it is obviously anxiety, but like I think also like opening up to your friends, and there's something that feels so great about being like, oh my God, wow, I'm not the only one. Like, okay. And like you have your other female friends who are like, oh yeah, no, like I'll lay there during penetrative sex and be like, okay, waiting for you to go down and eat me out. Like you've got 3 girls in this room right now, 2 in front of the camera, who are being like, yeah, no, like all of that checks out. I mean, even like when I first started masturbating, it took me like forever to figure out how to come. And I was like, oh my God, I'm broken. Like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. And then like when I finally started talking to my friends and they were like, no, come on, this is your mission. Like you got to fucking do this. I was like, oh, okay. Like this is fine. Or like friends who've also been like, yeah, no, I never have. And like talking about that and doing all of that, like it's you're able to get out of your own head because you put it out there and you say it, but you're able to get like somebody's response, and like obviously us, but like talking to your friends, because I promise you that they've gone through that too.
The same thing, yeah. And
like I would say too, like if like the pleasurable aspect of sex, like figure out if like is it what we're doing that I'm not necessarily super turned on by, and like that's not bringing me pleasure, or is it the fact that like I'm comparing myself to like this idea of what I think this is supposed to be like based on movies or whatever, and not what it's actually really like. Because also like maybe there's different positions that you like maybe like you're solid on masturbating, like maybe there's things that you can tell him to do. And like also I think it's totally valid and fine to like ask for like verbal confirmation and feedback from him that like he's super turned on and he's really into this, and like that he's enjoying having sex with you and he really likes like having sex with you. Like, I mean, if I hook up with someone who's like quiet immediately, I'm like, oh no, I am terrible. Like I need validation, and that's also like a fine thing to ask for. And if you're feeling like pent up and like you're just like spiraling, it can be really hard to like, and maybe it's like you stop having sex and you just like talk about it before you get to like having a full-blown panic attack, which I know it's like I hate when people are like, just talk before you have a panic attack. I'm like, well, I'm already gonna have it. But like talk through that with him and give him the tips and tools, because like right now it sounds like you're just entirely on your own in this and you're in your own head, and you're not. Like you have like female friends that you can talk to about this, even do like research and like reading about like female like the sex as with vaginas, like that whole thing. And like talk to him about like figure out what would make you feel like more validated and more confident in this. Like maybe that's like you like sexual, maybe you feel like super sexy in like lingerie, and like that's something like that. Or maybe you're feeling insecure about weight gain, and like having that verbal confirmation from him of being like, nah, I hella wanna fuck you. Like I wanna poke my dick in you.
He wants to marry you. Like he wants to spend the rest of you guys' lives together. And like I think like you talked about like how maybe like you feel less goofier or something. Like recently I started taking pole dancing classes. She
is fucking amazing.
That was twerking. I'm not good at the pole dancing.
I don't believe you, because you even downplayed the twerking. You're like, yeah, I can like twerk. Have you seen it? It is, I would say we'd put it, first of all, I told her.
If we reach 100 people on our Patreon, I'll post it there.
Get that coin.
Yeah.
Honestly though, guys, it should also be, I told her we need to redo your dating profile. It is fucking insane. But yes, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, but like going to those classes, like I've always felt mostly comfortable with my body, but going to those classes I realized that I wasn't like completely comfortable. And we all wear like in the classes, it's all women, everybody's in like booty shorts, ass hanging out the bottom of them, and everybody, it's like different sizes, from like super curvy girls to really skinny girls, and just the way people are moving, like it's helping like me get more in touch with my body. And I recommend it to anybody, because everybody's comfortable at any size, and with no shirt on. Like, it's great.
I
love
want to join.
Yeah.
But I would even say, like, I even feel, as someone who's been very sex positive, I feel more comfortable talking about sex since we've done the podcast and talking about it more. And like, I'm not somebody who like didn't talk about sex before, but like talking about it more and like having those conversations, like having it be on the forefront and something that is just like a casual thing. Like even my friends who listen to the podcast who are like, tend to be a little more like tame and not so much like I'm like, I don't fucking like get naked in front of anybody, like I'll tell you whatever, blah blah blah. They will talk to me about that like more like, oh, can I like, okay, blah. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, go for it. Like I don't know, I listen to the podcast, I'm like, oh, we can do this. And like talking about that, like I think like it's just, that's important. And then I would also say like if you're concerned about like not necessarily like, oh, like if figure out the statements in which blank is like not like everybody else, or why am I not like everybody else? And then things that like, if there are things that you're genuinely concerned about, like for you, am I not wet as other girls? Am I not as wet as other girls? Or if you're concerned, like I feel like I'm not getting wet, just me, like not compared to anyone else, talk to your doctor. Look at the medications that you're taking. See if there's any sort of side effects like that. I'm a big fan of body neutrality. And I think like, everyone deals with like going through periods or long extended phases of like hating their body. And I'm really focusing on body neutrality with myself. But like when if you're unhappy with the way that you look and things like that, I think you can also like shy away from checking in with the health of your body. And so if you are like, oh, I'm not getting wet enough, but you're just like, if you're like going to the bathroom and peeing or whatever, like you're just like, I'm doing everything fast. Like I don't want to like look at my body. I want to think about my body. And like I think if you can focus and work towards like body neutrality, and like you don't have to like love every fucking ounce of your body at all, but also think of your body as like health organs and like things that keep you alive. I think like you'll be able to check in with yourself more, and it's more like, okay, am I functioning at my normal? Is this normal for me? Not like, hey, is this normal compared to like all of these other girls that I see on porn who like they just squirt lube all over their pussy and like they're just like dripping wet. Like compare your like. It's a hard thing to also compare yourself to yourself, but like find what your normal is before you start comparing it to other people, because I think that also you want to, if it is a medication thing, I think that would also be helpful for you to know that it's
not
you. Because like antibiotics, I know antidepressants also can like sex drive and things like that, and also clue him in a way that like if masturbating, also figure out what it is about masturbating that's like there's no anxiety there with it. Like, are you fantasizing about anything? Are you thinking about anything specific when you're getting off? Like, is there something that you guys could do more? Is it like more foreplay that you would like really be into? Or is it maybe like you don't even have penetrative sex for a while? Like maybe he's just going down on you, you're going down on him. Like there's something like if you like going down on him, or like I think there's a fantastic like hot confidence boost that like when you give a great blowjob, and like finding things like that like maybe you don't broach the subject of like the penetrative sex for a while, and just educate yourself on, I don't know, like sex and orgasms and all those different things, because like clearly you know how to get yourself off on your own. But I'm sure your fiance like wants to be a part of that. Mutual masturbation.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe if you masturbate next to him, and then if you felt like you're like, yeah, like I got off, we can do penetrative sex now. Yeah.
But let us know how it goes. Please talk to your female friends. And also if you don't have a lot of female friends, go on like Reddit, like women like talking about that stuff. Yeah. Any of that stuff.
Hi, Meghan and Mel and potential guest. I'm 21 years old, and lately I've had some trouble with drinking. I started drinking when I was 15, which of course I don't condone, but I gotta be real. And I drink heavily like every 2 weeks when I'm going out with friends. Normally I haven't had a problem. It's just been normal craziness. But during like the past 6 months, I've had a really hard time controlling myself when I drink. For example, on St. Patrick's Day, I made out with our 40-year-old Uber driver and made a bunch of inappropriate comments to him, gave him my number, and the person that was with me said he wasn't attractive at all. Another time I was walking on the streets and needed a ride, and so I just knocked on someone's car and I got a ride from 3 men, so a bunch of stuff could have gone wrong. Took me to my friend's house, and then after that I puked in their washer. Their literal washing machine. But this past weekend was the worst when I hooked up with my soon-to-be cousin, who is also a girl. And I consider myself straight, but I'm obviously bi-curious. After this time especially, I think I really fucked up, and I can't get over the amount of guilt that I have, because I see her at every family event, and I'm scared she's going to tell someone in my family or something. My question is, should I quit drinking, and am I being overdramatic, or is this just typical crazy 21-year-old behavior? Thanks so much. Love you guys. Bye.
I relate a lot to this, but it's also not normal 21-year-old behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink. I don't drink for a multitude of reasons. I'm like, here I am making this about me. But like, truthfully, I don't drink. It makes me so fucking sick. Makes me so incredibly sick. I drank heavily in high school and then into college, and I really, really, really like myself when I'm drunk. I really like who I am. I'm super fucking confident. I'm not anxious. I'm not insecure. Like, I don't like second guess what I'm saying. Like, I feel pretty. I feel hot. Like, I feel like on top of the fucking world. And that's the issue. Like, I think like when people talk about like social lubricant with like alcohol and things like that, that's people who like can have one drink and it gives them a little kickstart. But like, if you're having a hard time controlling yourself, like I didn't drink without blacking out until I was into my 20s. Like, it was just, I didn't know how to stop because like, it was like a high. It was like a high of like confidence. And like, especially if like and then the issue is alcohol is also a depressant. So the next day you feel even worse than you do. So if you're insecure or you have any like image issues or body image issues, or if you're depressed or anxious or anything like that, like you become even more depleted, and then you need more alcohol to compensate for all of that. And that's the other big reason why I don't drink is like, I love how I feel and like how like I perceive myself and everything like that, but like it's not healthy. And like I can check myself and know that like if I was like when I was going out, like if I was the kind of person of being like, I wouldn't have a mixed drink. I'd be like, no, I'm just have a fucking shot. Like, why? And that's the thought process of like, no, because if I break that down and I don't move on from it, like I'm just trying to get drunker faster. And that's not what social drinking is. That's not what casual drinking is. And I think that's where your issue is. My God, I literally the amount, like my friend sent me a picture of her and I with these like two like 40-year-old men at In-N-Out for my birthday. She goes, what the fuck were we doing? And I was like, oh my God. And neither her or I drink now. And it was so much of like it's a Band-Aid. And I think like this isn't normal 21-year-old behavior also because you're concerned about it.
Yeah. I mean, when I was 21 years old, or even like 20 to 25, I was drinking a lot all the time. And it's because I loved who I was when I was drinking. It wasn't, I don't think it was extremist. I would never get in the car with a car full of men or anything. I didn't have that many like compulsive episodes, but like, yeah, I think you've got to like check. This is not normal 21-year-old behavior.
I faced a lot of like backlash from people when I stopped drinking because like it can be crazy and it can be fun and all of that stuff. But like when you're putting yourself in dangerous positions and all of that, which I've been there, it's super, super scary because you also don't know that person because like you weren't consciously there, and that's a scary aspect to it. And I think like if it means like taking a break from alcohol for an extended period of time, and then like maybe you're able to revisit it and like have a different relationship with it.
That's
depends
how I am now.
on how your relationship with yourself changes. And that's something like I think now I could, if it didn't make me so sick, maybe I'd be okay with it. But I even had like a drink at a wedding. Like literally almost shit my pants the next day. I like hardly made it to the bathroom.
Clenching.
Mini white dress, no underwear, 15-minute walk. I like was like, Monts, give me the keys. And I'd like find the perfect pace of walking so you don't shit, but like you're getting there fast. But like even I like it's a little bit like, and like it flips that again. And I was like, no, I don't like this. Like I'm nervous and uncomfortable and like a little like socially awkward at this wedding. And I suddenly feel a little less socially awkward. And I'm like, no, it's not what like, and it sucks when some people like can find healthy relationships with it when you feel like, fuck, I really want, like, I want to be able to be like that. And it's like harder for you. But at the same time, like, I think you're calling in because you know this. And also like you have put yourself in scary situations, which coherent sober you is afraid for drunk you. And I think like you got to look out for that. And I think it's not normal 21-year-old behavior. And I would also check to see like, it sounds like check your friends around you, because like nobody should and maybe you really don't present drunk when you're wasted, but like no one should let you get in a car with 3 random guys. And if you have friends who are enabling this behavior and who are also on this train, because this sounds like a lot of like self-actualization, like maybe I have a problem, not my friends are sitting down with me and saying that I have a problem. Like I'd also check who you're hanging out with, because when I like stopped drinking, I had so many different friends. There were lots of friends that were like, oh, cool, peace. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like, that's really what we did together. And then also when I was sober, I realized I'm like, wow, I don't really like a lot of you people. Like there's some people I hang out with, I'm like, oh, I'm fine hanging out with you drunk, but like, fuck, if I'm like sober, I'm not hanging out with you. And I think like check that and check your circle. And yeah, I think like when you start drinking young, I think it just, this burnout that happens, I think it naturally happens for like most people into like their mid 20s. But if you started drinking really young and like heavily, I literally, I think I was pretty much done drinking before my 21st birthday. Yeah. Like, and then I slowly tapered off. But I think like, yeah, I think you're aware of the fact that like this is maybe not great for you. And then also I'm just suggesting therapy all of the time. But yeah, I think like sit with yourself sober for a while and figure out what it is that you really like about drinking, and what those insecurities are and how you can like combat them. And yeah, I definitely had a lot of ones with like anxiety of like dating and guys. And like I literally got so fucking drunk before Monts and I's first date that I hardly remember it. Like how sad is that? Like, come on. Like, but like as the more we got comfortable, the more we started dating, like that confidence that you find in like, you don't necessarily need alcohol to get to. But yeah, I think like you're in tune with yourself, but I would figure out why it is.
Yeah, why. And also maybe like I don't want to sit here and maybe say that you're an alcoholic, but maybe going to a like Alcoholics Anonymous meeting just to see what it's like and talk to people, and it could be comforting and help you get through what you're going through.
Yeah, I have friends who don't they still casually drink, and they go to AA just to keep themselves in check. They've got family histories of addiction, or they've struggled with an addiction to that prior or anything else. Like it's a good place to just kind of like check in and regroup. And I also think of it in the same way of like when you drink in high school and you like have to go home to your parents, like there's like someone there to like kind of report to. I think AA is a great, I don't know, like moral like compass kind of there that like, even if it's not like, oh, tell us about all of your issues, like it's there to check in, and like it doesn't let you bury things under the rug because like you're talking about the hard kind of stuff. Oh my God, that's our last call, but it's time for Don't Blame Them, which is, I was going to leave you. Do you want to?
Oh, I didn't know if you were doing the door thing. Call and response.
Oh, Dora. I thought you said door. And I was like, knock, knock. This is Don't Blame Them. This is where you guys as listeners call in and you give your own advice on previous episodes, things that you have personal experience with. I love this segment. I love this part. Me too. By the way. Like it's I find this the most comforting. Like if I was a listener of the podcast, this is the part that I find the most comforting. Because I'd be like, oh yeah, Meghan, Melisa, whatever. But then it's like, oh no, there's someone else who's like, okay, been there.
Yeah, that's why I love doing it for the Patreon when we do the full episodes with it.
Because you guys wouldn't even, like some of the, even I'm surprised by some of the ones where like, oh, I've been through something similar. I'm like, you fucking have?
I think you will with this one.
Oh, wow.
So this is from the episode with Lisa Shorts, the last one, season 3, episode 25.
So a sad one.
It wasn't really sad. It was just odd. The original caller, her neighbor's child was over, and she noticed the child was humping a pillow. And so this is someone calling in that has similar experience.
Wow. Hi, Meghan and Melissa and guests. I am calling with advice for the mom who called about her daughter's friend humping a pillow. Which seems like a weird piece of advice to be calling about. But I used to work at a preschool, and it's very common for kids to self-stimulate. And but a couple years ago, I had a girl in my class who would self-stimulate all the time, like would not stop. She would be on the edge of a chair. She'd be humping a pillow during nap time, just all the time. And I think the place for this mom that's really weird to be in is it's, if you're going to talk to the parents, be prepared that they may be very defensive about it, because even though for kids it does not necessarily mean anything sexual, and most likely doesn't, it's just something that feels good for them, and they don't realize that it's like a private thing. The parents might take it as you're saying that their child is over-sexualized, and they might get very defensive about it. And it's very hard to be in the place of kind of addressing that for other parents. What we would do at the preschool is we were just, the parents knew about it, and the approach that we took was to constantly just correct it and say, don't do that, sit all the way in your chair, take your hands out of your pants, those kinds of things. If she was sitting on the edge of a chair, just saying, sit up straight, sit back, do this, whatever, and just kind of constantly correct it without necessarily pointing out what she was doing. If it had been my child, what I would say is, hey, I know that is something that feels good. That's just more of a private thing. So feel free to do that in the bathroom, in your room, when you're by yourself. It's just not something that we do with other people around. And that's kind of the approach I would take. But again, when it's not your kid, approaching that with other parents, just be prepared that they might view it as a sexual thing and really maybe take offense to it. So I just wanted to call with that little piece of advice. I don't know if that's advice. I don't know if that's helpful. But anyways, love the podcast. Thanks.
So helpful. I also love that I called based on her voice alone. I was like, she's a teacher. Mm-hmm. Very true. I think I also forgot the term self-stimulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. I think it's, yeah, obviously we don't have kids. We don't know that.
I haven't heard of this before.
Oh, I told you I was in elementary school with a girl.
Yeah. But I mean, like, personal experience.
Yeah.
With other children that I know.
Yeah. I think like, I think also like that home talk, I think that's like the best way to do it. Like, that's like, it's not like a forbidden thing. It's just like, that's something we do around people. Like, that's like your own fun time thing. And also, like, don't you find it a little distracting that you're like paying attention to that and like not what your teacher's saying? Like that kind of thing. But I think that's incredibly helpful. And hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that's it for our episode, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed. It was a great time. We all had a good time. Hope you did too. If you want to be on an upcoming episode, or maybe not, you don't want to, but like you need some fucking help.
Or you want to share advice, then you would want to then.
Then you would want to. I've had people DM me who've been like, I just really want to call into the podcast, but I have nothing to talk about. But like, I really, really, really want to call on. I'm like, fire sign. You're like, I just want to.
But don't waste our time.
No, but they haven't. They said they want to, but they're saving it. They're waiting. And I'm like, so do you want something bad to happen in your life? Like, are you going to be like secretly excited? Like when I was writing my book and I was like, oh, don't fucking bring it up. I brought it up. Damn it. Mm-hmm. But I'd be like, well, at least they can put this in the book. So if you want to leave a message, if you're a domestic USA listener, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can leave us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, Don't Blonde Meme Pod. We're there. I put a lot of effort into our edits. You made me a really cute birthday one that did look like my aesthetic. I was really I choked, proud.
I was working on in the back of the car.
Oh my God. And I also made my own birthday one because I just like was planning on doing it. So the people who accused me of doing it,
I actually did do it.
And then I posted the one that I was going to make myself too. So I like gave myself two. Or I gave myself one. You gave me one. Thanks. Check out our website, don'tblameme.show. Patreon, guys. What did we say we'll give them if we get to 100?
I'll post my twerking video.
Oh, wow. It is so beyond worth that, guys. Like, I can't even explain to you. It's not a short clip. It's a long clip. Yeah. It's a great angle.
There's multiple. You just saw one.
Shh. It's in focus. Your outfit is cute. Like, you are feeling the music. Like, it's so fucking worth it. It's great. Like, it's so good. It's really worth it. So join our Patreon. And what else? Watch this on YouTube if you're listening and you want to see us. And you know, that's it. We'll see you next week. Unless you're a part of our Patreon. Right?
Yeah. If you're part of Patreon, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Hell yeah. Join. See the twerking. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Don't blame me. Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melisa Monts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.